Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Accomplishment Coaching is proud to present the following fine programming. Accomplishment Coaching, where coaches lead and leaders coach. AccomplishmentCoaching.com.
Welcome to the Wealth Building Hour.
Barbara Weltman here. I'm your host today, and we're going to bring you a great show. Just a little background on me. I'm the publisher of Big Ideas for Small Business, Idea of the Day, and author of J.K. Lasser's Small Business Taxes, and many other resources that you can find at BarbaraWeltman.com. Joining me now, I'm pleased to say, is an old friend, Cliff Ennico, who is an attorney and a very prolific author on a number of very helpful business books. And his latest, the one that I can't wait to talk about today, is the Crowdfunding Handbook. And so welcome, Cliff, and let's get to it.
Hey, Barbara, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and thanks again for taking the time to speak with me and my listeners. And this is a really great and timely topic because there's a lot going on here. I mean, crowdfunding, we know, has been around for a while with Kickstarter and Indiegogo and other sites. So why is this such an important topic right now to all of us small business owners?
Okay. Well, there's been some big changes here, Barbara. About a month ago, the government came down with some new regulations that allow small businesses and early-stage companies, startups, to raise money on the Internet using crowdfunding portals and give their investors a piece of their company in return. Up to now, if you're doing crowdfunding, you're doing some kind of a project. You're an inventor, maybe, who wants to raise money to get his invention patented. Maybe you're an author looking to raise money so you can live for a few months while you write the great American novel. But at the end of the day, you post your campaign on a crowdfunding site. Investors put their money in, and at the end of the day, they get something tangible. They get a copy of your book. They get a copy of the invention. They get something. What the government has changed now, Barbara, and this is very interesting, is that they now allow companies to sell their stock and their securities on these crowdfunding sites. So I can go online now. Let's say I'm a startup company. I can go to one of these crowdfunding sites and say, hey, I'm looking to raise $150,000. Here's what I'm planning to use for the money, to do with the money, and I'm selling 10% of my common stock, 50,000 shares at $3 a share. You can now do that on crowdfunding websites.
So that's really great, but I can't just post on my company website. I can't just post that I'm selling my shares through my company site. I have to go to one of these approved sites.
That's right. You have to go through an approved crowdfunding portal. If you go to the SEC website at sec.gov and type in crowdfunding, you'll see they have a list there of the portals that have registered so far. And there are some big names in there. Kickstarter is unfortunately not one of them. They haven't signed up for this. But a couple of others have. There's one called Seed Invest, SEED Invest, which is based in New York. There's another one called Next Seed. There's about 20 of these crowdfunding portals that have registered with the SEC so far and where you can list your offering for sale. Indiegogo has indicated that they probably will get into this marketplace at some point, but they haven't made a commitment yet. They'll probably be doing it, I think, later this year.
So is this the kind of thing that any company, whether you're a startup or you've been in business for a while and you want to expand and you need the capital, is this really for anybody?
Really, it's for anybody. And one of the things that I'm really excited about here, Barbara, this is going to give companies who traditionally have not been able to get access to venture capital to be able to tap the equity markets for to raise money. Let's say, for example, you have a restaurant. Let's say you have a famous restaurant. You're the most popular restaurant in town. Everybody loves you. You've got 20,000 likes on Facebook. You've got 10,000 Twitter followers. But at the end of the day, you're a restaurant. You cannot raise money for a restaurant using venture capital. They don't want that. They want to see scalable investments like software and manufacturing and smartphone apps. They're not interested in a restaurant. Up to now, if you wanted to raise money, you had to get an SBA loan, a mortgage loan, or some other kind of bank financing where you have to put up all kinds of collateral. You have to personally guarantee the loan and all the founders have to put mortgages on their houses. You have all these restrictive covenants that you have to deal with. Now with crowdfunding, if you've got a strong following on social media, you can launch a crowdfunding campaign online and sell a piece of your restaurant, sell stock in your restaurant to your fans, to your social media followers who have already bought into you. These people already love your company, they love your restaurant, and they're going to want the bragging rights of saying, hey, I own a piece of Cliff's Trattoria. That's a big thing for them. So this is going to open the door to venture capital to a lot of companies like restaurants, retail, service businesses. Interestingly enough, there's already a crowdfunding portal for small businesses that want to franchise their operations. It's called Sprigster.com, SPRIGSTER.com, where if you have a chain of small restaurants and you're thinking about selling franchises, this is a way that you could actually raise capital to file the documents with the Federal Trade Commission and actually launch a real franchise.
Wow, that's so exciting. But let me ask you this. All right, so I have all these people who like me, and they want to buy in and help me expand or start a second location or something like that. Do I have to share all my financial information with them?
The answer is basically yes. When you launch a crowdfunding portal, when you launch a crowdfunding campaign, you have to register with a portal, and you must make certain required disclosures. The SEC has a form. It's a Form C for crowdfunding. And basically what you do is you fill that out, you post it on the portal, and you can also include other things as well. So if you're a restaurant, you could include your menu. You could use a video where the owner talks about the restaurant and the family history, stuff like that. The SEC is pretty open. You can put anything up on the portal that you want to help promote the offering in whatever format you choose. As long as it doesn't contradict the Form C disclosures, you're fine. And you do have to put up financials. If you are raising, first of all, you can only raise up to $1 million this way, although it's over a 12-month rolling period. So if you raise $500,000 now and wait a year, you can then go for another $1 million. Is how it works. But you have to, if you ask for more than $500,000 in 2 or more offerings, you have to have audited financials. But otherwise, your financials do not have to be audited. If you're just raising $500,000 to $1 million in a single offering, your financial statements only have to be reviewed by a CPA, not audited, which is a tremendous cost savings. And if the offering is less than $100,000, it doesn't have to be certified at all. It's just basically whatever your CEO says the financial information is. But to answer your question, yes, you must disclose your financials.
All right, so your diners are going to know how much money you make.
I'm all choked up about this, you can tell. I'm sorry, I'm all choked up about this, you can tell.
Okay. Another question, though. Are there any costs? Like if I go to one of the websites that you mentioned, are there fees? Obviously, crowdfunding is a way to raise capital without the extreme cost of a public offering, entailing audited financials, as you mentioned, and other costs. But are there costs involved in doing this?
The answer is yes. The portals obviously are going to charge a fee for providing this service. Most of the portals so far that I've looked at are charging 5 to 10% of the offering amount as a fee, although some portals for smaller offerings under $200,000 are charging a flat fee. And I think that's a trend we're going to be seeing. What's going to happen, I think, over time, Barbara, is that these portals are going to specialize in various things. So you'll have a portal that specializes, say, in restaurants. You'll have a portal that specializes in low dollar amount offerings of less than $250,000, and those will be primarily flat fee sites. You're going to start seeing offerings like this one, like the one portal that's doing franchise offerings. You're going to start seeing specialization, I think, with these portals, which will help companies raise money, because as time goes on, you will not have to rely on your social media following to get investors. As these portals develop and grow, they will develop an investor base, so that when you go to these portals, you're not just relying on your subscriber base to invest in you, but you can also rely on their pool of investors. But that's going to take a while to develop. I don't think we're going to be seeing portals developing those kinds of numbers, those kind of investor followings, for at least another 2 or 3 years until crowdfunding really takes off. But it's a lot less expensive than filing an IPO. It costs anywhere from $500,000 to $100,000 to $1 million to launch a traditional IPO under the SEC rules. Doing a crowdfunded offering is only going to cost a fraction of that. There will be some legal and accounting fees, but I have to say the SEC has done a very beautiful job of making it easy
Cliff?
for issuers. But yes.
I'm going to cut you off because we're coming up to a hard break here. And when we come back,
problem.
I want to continue this. This is fascinating, and I think it's so great for my listeners to get the inside scoop on this. I want to have everybody know about the title of your new book. It's called The Crowdfunding Handbook, and you can find out more. You can follow Cliff on Twitter at Cliff Ennico. You can go to the website succeedinginyourbusiness.com. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What?, Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business Radio. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released and encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. It's for every entrepreneur who ever wondered if they really own their business or if their business owns them. It'll help you to work less by getting your business to produce more. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, go to scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Accomplishment Coaching is proud to present the following fine programming. Accomplishment Coaching, where coaches lead and leaders coach. AccomplishmentCoaching.com.
Welcome back to the Wealth Building Hour.
Barbara Weltman here. Find out more about me at barbaraweltman.com. Joining me once again is Cliff Ennico, an attorney and very prolific author, and I'm so excited that we're talking about his great new book, The Crowdfunding Handbook, which is really an essential for small business owners who are thinking about raising money in this way. And we've sort of got the basics in the previous segment. Cliff, I kind of want to put you on the spot a little bit and ask you from the investor perspective, because I think it'll clarify things for our business owners who can explain things to potential investors. So if I go to my brokerage account and I buy Apple shares, they show up in my brokerage account. Where do I see my shares?
Okay. The shares basically show up on the portal, which keeps a running registry of that. The shares themselves are kept in a depository, the same as it would be for anything else. An investor would open an account with the portal, and that's where they would keep track of the crowdfunded investments that they made through that portal. Now, that does complicate an investor's life a little bit because if somebody is investing in multiple offerings on different portals, they're going to have different accounts at different portals. But it's really no more difficult, I would think, than what a day trader goes through. There are limits on how much investors can invest in these things, and that's probably the biggest thing that investors need to know about. So, for example, you cannot invest more than $100,000 in crowdfunded offerings total, and in each offering you're limited to a certain dollar amount depending on what your assets and income are. There's a series of thresholds, which I write about in my book.
Right, like whether you treat it as an accredited investor or non-accredited investor, and those terms are defined in your book, so that's easy enough to understand.
But the beauty of this is that you do not have to be an accredited investor. Anybody in the world can invest in one of these things. You do not have to be an accredited investor, although if you're not an accredited investor, you're limited as to how much you can invest. So, for example, if your net worth is less than $100,000, which let's face it, most of us are, in that situation, you can only invest up to $2,000 in any particular offering. So that does put some limits on things. But again,
they make sense.
It does. I mean, let's face it, the SEC is trying to protect investors. They don't want to see people losing their life savings to unscrupulous stock promoters and crazy schemes to sell pieces of the Brooklyn Bridge. They are worried about that. So it's a good thing in the end.
Of course. But another question. Now, if I buy Apple stock, I can see on the exchange the value of my shares go up, they go down, but I can kind of check it out. Is there any way to know if my shares the value is increasing or decreasing?
Really, the short answer is that there's no way other than what the company itself tells you. These are privately listed companies. They are not listed with a national securities exchange. One of the big issues in crowdfunding right now, Barbara, and it's an unanswered question, is whether or not exchanges will develop to enable investors to trade their stock in crowdfunded offerings. Right now, I'm not aware that there's anything like that as yet. When you make a crowdfunded offering, you're doing it because you're a fan of a particular issuer. And the issuer is the one who's going to have to keep you informed, and they are required to keep you informed. They are required to keep you informed.
You all set? On the phone?
Yes, I'm all set. Just making a call. Thank you very much. I should tell your listeners that I am on the side of a highway right now, and that lovely voice was from a state trooper asking me if I was okay. So that's okay. This is the kind of life I live, Barbara. You know, it hasn't changed. In all the years we've known each other, it has not changed. But seriously, you have to keep in touch, and the issuers are required to keep in touch. They must file an annual report. Most of them will probably have quarterly investor calls. It's the same as anyone who's ever invested in a privately held company. It's exactly the same process. But you're not going to have access to the kind of real-time information that an investor in an IPO, say, would get.
Yeah, as you say, as yet, perhaps there'll be a secondary market created in some way where people will be able to sell. Another, the attorney in me and probably in you must be thinking, all right, so you've invested, you put $5,000 in or $10,000 in, and you die, and then your estate has to file an estate tax return, and what do you do, and where do you get value? And so I think these are issues that are going to have to get addressed.
I think the answer is right over time, but it will happen over time. I have no doubt that an infrastructure will develop around this. Right now, we're in very early days. As we're doing this interview, it's been less than a month since the government allowed this. So it's going to take some time. My prediction is for the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to see growth in this area. We're going to see a lot of portals register. We are going to see offerings. There will undoubtedly be some lawsuits involved from people who felt that the disclosures were inadequate or that fraud was committed. I mean, this is a brand new market. It's going to take time to develop. But I think after an initial shakeout period, it's going to go. I mean, here's my personal prediction. I mean, you hate to generalize about things and about people. But as the millennials become more and more the dominant generation in our society, I think this is going to take off. I think this is the way that early-stage companies are going to be raising their capital in the future. And why do I say that? Because millennials, as a rule, hate banks. They hate banks. They hate the traditional way in which Wall Street has conducted its business. They are looking for ways, and you see it in a number of places. You see it here. You see it in Bitcoin, where they want people to be able to interact, issuers and companies to interact with each other directly without the need of fancy intermediaries. And crowdfunding, I think, is going to be a very powerful tool, in that as we see younger entrepreneurs launching their companies.
Well, I have to agree with you. I think that's absolutely true. That this is likely to be the go-to for the future. But let me take a step back. Now you're a business. You're just starting up. Is this the first way you should think of to raise capital, or is this a last resort way to raise capital? How does crowdfunding fit into the big debt equity kind of picture when you're just starting a business?
Okay. The short answer is it's kind of in the middle. When you first start a company, you should be raising money first and foremost from your founders. Mo, Larry, and Curly starting a company in their garage. Each one of them should be putting in money, hitting up their credit cards, borrowing money, doing whatever they can to bootstrap the company so that you don't have to get to outside financing. Where crowdfunding is going to come in is in the friends and family stage. And this is where I think it's going to revolutionize small business financing. Historically, once a company has used up its founders' money, the next step is to raise money from friends and family, Uncle Irving, rich relatives, maybe a local millionaire that happens to know you, that kind of thing. But you're limited in who you can solicit. What crowdfunding does is it expands that friends and family to include your social media networks. If you're like me, I have over 1,000 Twitter followers. Most of these people are people I don't know personally, although I'd like to at some point. With crowdfunding, I can tap these people for friends and family money, whereas before I was limited to my Uncle Irving, who's a great guy, but he's worthless. He has no money. So that's where I see it, coming in. It's not going to be a replacement for the big venture capital. I don't see companies raising $5 to $10 million this way, at least not now. I don't see it happening. This is for cash raises in the $100,000 to $1 million range. is where I see it. So the friends and family stage, that's where I see it happening.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. All right, we're coming to the end of our program. We have about a minute left. Do you have any last-minute thoughts on this for my listeners?
Well, the answer is, first of all, there are a number of resources. A lot of people are going to be talking about this over the next few months. What I've tried to do in the crowdfunding handbook is not just to give you the big picture, but also to tell you step by step how to do one of these, where the pitfalls are, what you have to think about, how you manage your crowd. For example, when you do a crowdfunding, you're now going to have hundreds of investors that you now have to manage. And if you don't manage them well, they're going to turn on you. And that can be a big problem for a startup company that's working 24/7 to try to launch their product and get their things going. So I give you very detailed advice in this book as to how to deal with those situations. And I would invite anyone else, too, to contact me personally at succeedinginyourbusiness.com. I am working with some of the early-stage portals that are developing. And if there's something that you're thinking about, I'd be happy to make an introduction to one of the portals so you can find out exactly what the process involves.
Well, thank you so much, Cliff, for sharing this great information. You're on the cutting edge. And, again, just so everybody knows where they can find out more, go to buy the crowdfunding handbook. It's available on Amazon and where other books are sold. And also check out the website, succeedinginyourbusiness.com, because crowdfunding, even if you're not ready to do it now, it's really a great idea to start learning about it so you can turn to it if and when you need it. I'm Barbara Weltman, and you can find out more about me at barbaraweltman.com. We're going to be back with another guest, so don't go away.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind. Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Attention business owners. If you feel like your business owns you and want to grow your company and get your life back, then get the Scale Toolkit at ScaleYourBusinessToolkit.com. Created by Wall Street Journal bestselling author David Finkel and Priceline.com co-founder Jeff Hoffman, this free collection of 36 videos and PDF tools will help you build a business, not a job. Go to ScaleYourBusinessToolkit.com today and learn how to work less by getting your business to produce more.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.